Hello, welcome friends, welcome everyone who are joining on Zoom with us and everyone who will be watching this on our live stream on Facebook later. I'm Kin from Vietnam and I'm also a member of Regeneration team together with Natalie from Thailand. We are both on the call today. And as a welcome screen for you, when you were arriving, we shared with you a poem from Dellinger, which is also a question and a message that we have been wondering and asking ourselves a lot. As you can understand that we are going through a lot of different crises, socially, culturally, ecologically, and it really raised the question of what does it mean to be human within amidst this planetary collapse? So as we begin our grounding in regeneration section, the info section of Regeneration program today, I would like to share with you a story. Um, and yeah, I just invite you to sit relax where you are. Just get yourself comfortable when we can start together and just let yourself flow with the story that I'm about to tell you. This is a story that was told by Joanna Macy. Some of you might know her. She's the root teacher of the work that reconnects, and she actually learned the story from Kogayo Rinpoche of the Tashijong community in northern India. And the story goes like this. There comes a time when all life on earth is in danger. At that time, great powers have arisen, barbarian powers, and although they waste their wealth in preparations to annihilate each other, they have much in common. Among the things these barbarians have in common are weapons of unfathomable devastation and death, and technologies that lay waste to the world. And it is just at this point in our history when the future of all beings seems to hang by the frailest of threads that the kingdom of Shambhala emerges. Now, you cannot go there because it's not a place. It exists in the hearts and minds of the Shambhala warriors. Nor can you recognize a Shambhala warrior when you see her or him, for they wear no uniform, no insignia, carry no banners. They have no barricades on which to climb to threaten their enemy or behind which they can rest to hide or regroup. They haven't even have any home turf or for always they must move on the terrain of the Lalus or barbarians themselves. Now the time comes when great courage is required of the Shambhala warriors, moral courage and physical courage. And that's because they are going to go right into the heart of the barbarian powers to dismantle their weapons. They are going to go into the pits and citadels where the weapons are made and deployed. They are going into the corridors of power where the decisions are made to dismantle the weapons in every sense of the word. The Shambhala warriors know that these weapons can be dismantled because they are manomaya, meaning they are made by the human mind. They can be unmade by the human mind. The danger that face us are not brought upon by some satanic deity or some evil extraterrestrial force or some unchangeable preordained fate. They arise out of our relationships and habits, out of our priorities. They are made by the human mind, and they can be unmade by the human mind. And for the rest of the story, I invite you to hear it from the voice of Joanna Macy herself.
So, he said, now is the time the Shambhala warriors go into training. How do they train? I asked. They train in the use of 2 implements, he said. Actually used the word weapons. What are they? I asked. And he held up his hands the way the dancers hold the ritual objects in the great Lama dances of his people. And he said, one is compassion, and the other is insight into the radical interdependence of all phenomena. And you need both, he said. You need the compassion because that provides the fuel to move you out where you need to be, to do what you need to do. It means not being afraid of the suffering of your world. And when you're not afraid to be with that pain, then nothing can stop you. Be and do what you're meant to do. But by itself, he said, that implement is very hot. It can burn you out. So you need the other. That other tool, the insight into the radical interconnectivity of the heart of existence. The web of life, our deep ecology. When you have that, you know, he said, when you understand that, then you know that this is not a battle between good guys and bad guys. You know that the line between good and evil runs through the landscape of every human heart. And you know that we are so interwoven in the web of life that even the smallest act with clear intention has repercussions through the whole web, beyond your capacity to see. But that's kind of cool, he said. Maybe even a little abstract. So you need the heat of the compassion. That's the prophecy.
So that's the prophecy of the Shambhala warriors. I would love to hear for you who are here with us in the Zoom room, how does this story make you feel? And maybe if it reminds you of someone who you know in your life, or someone maybe you're aspired to, who are using these 2 implements, it's 2 weapons, compassion and the insights into the radical interdependence of all phenomena. So please share with us. You can share by putting your sharing in typing in the chat. And by the way, you can also say hi and introduce yourself in the chat as well. Or you can also share by just raise your hand and open your mic and share it with us all in this Zoom room. How do you feel about the story, and does it remind you of someone that you know in your life or that you are aspired to? So if you feel like you want to share, just feel free to raise your hand. And I also see Na put in the chat that the story reminds her of Vandana Shiva. Do you want to share a little bit, Na?
Sure. Hello, everyone. I'm Na. I'm part of the core team for REGEN-Nations, and I was on the course 2 years ago. So that that story, the Joanna Macy story, always gives me goosebumps every time I hear it. And I think it's really beautiful because you see people stepping in to do something in every different corner of the planet. And for me, Vandana Shiva is someone who I see is standing up to, so many big, huge, scary corporations, and she's doing it really gently. I mean, she's fierce, but she's also gentle, and I see that the way that she does it and the way she weaves it through all the work and with all the community she works with. She does seed saving through India and really empowers people, and she understands that the balance between the two, and I see her balance them. Like she's a very inspirational person for me. And and Gairashram, we had a came to prayer yesterday.
Yeah, the story remind me of who is actually my mentor in deep ecology. And in Genoa, we just had a call yesterday with the Gaia Ashram where shared the journey she had forming the community on a barren land. And it was so inspiring. And I see Henry, you have your hands up.
Hello there. Yeah, nice to see you again. I initially thought of Michael Mead, who is a teacher, and he talks a lot about initiation. He's from the States. He talks a lot about initiation as this path that is lacking in our modern society, of a part in our youth for both men and women, where we transform through darkness and push through the darkness and pain into a space of more love, light, and understanding about ourselves and who we are in this world, and our place in it, and what we can bring, and our power, our personal power and ability. And he works a lot with disprivileged youths and people caught up in crime and stuff in the US, and just thought about that because he's such a good elder and so wise. But he's got a lot of compassion, and he understands the need for ritual and ceremony in our lives. And on a global scale, it does seem like a lot of us are going through some sort of initiation, some sort of birthing process to come out into the side. So yeah, that's what I thought of.
Thank you, Henry. That's really beautiful.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, he's a great leader.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And I see in the chat we've got Laurie Simpson, who says, makes you think of many people who are part of the regenerative movement, understanding it's not about fighting, but reconnection with one another, and all life that change comes. Yeah, so true. And I think with there's a lot of fire normally in activism, and we need fire, but yes, we also need calmness and coolness to balance it out. There's so many different roles people can play, and we find with all of the projects and all of the types of people and all of the different solutions we need to create a whole system of regeneration across the planet. There's many different roles and many different skills. So I'd like to say a little bit about the course overview, a little information about what REGEN-Nations contains and how it's been designed to try and help anyone, regardless of what their project's subject is or where they are, help them to try and create a solution that is more holistic in its approach and able to last a long time and have the impact that the project team wants it to have. So REGEN-Nations is designed to be an online learning journey. So you can come as an individual or as a project team, and you can bring an idea with you, or perhaps you have a project that's already on the way and you want to learn how to develop that project through the 5 areas of regeneration. So under the Global Eco Village Network, there are 5 areas of regeneration. And the first is social design, the second is cultural, the third is ecology, and the fourth is economy, and the last is whole systems design, which brings all of the previous dimensions together and helps you look at really the project from all of these different lenses, and layer by layer you can build resilience and flexibility into the project by seeing what is on the horizon for each of these different lenses. So as we work through the curriculum of the course, you will take your project idea and your project team and go through each of the action learnings. And the action learnings, they vary tremendously depending on the speaker and the topic for that dimension. So there could be something that you go into your community and you gather your community together and you work on something together. It could be something that's more about a business. So it could be focusing in the economy section, excuse me, about focusing in on the business and really looking at where you could build financial resilience into your project. And through the ecology section, we look at a few different techniques to combat climate crisis and how you can decide to make your projects have that the same as social and cultural and ecology and economy. Every single dimension has a different lens, but we're always looking at the whole project. So we're always thinking about all of the different types of design that can come together. And then the whole systems element at the end, we bring together all of the different 4 dimensions that came before, and we're looking at how we can weave these together and layer them together. And at the end of the course, each team would make a presentation which kind of pulls together the ideas and the design for each of the dimensions and helps you really define and refine how the project will work, what you need, what you don't need, what you're looking for, and really present it to people. So it helps you to understand what your project needs and where it is, and maybe that helps you to find more people or find the place, or just to take your project on to the next step. So that's a little bit about the curriculum. We've got question and answers at the end of this session, so I could talk a long time, but there's a lot of different things we cover, but feel free to ask us questions in the question and answer section. And I'm going to go to a little game now. So we have a lot of speakers, and all of our speakers who are in the Regen-Nations course all come from Oceania and Asia. So they're all different leaders and practitioners, and they've all led successful projects within our region. And we're bringing the wisdom from them to share with you. So we have 6 faces for you, and wanted to, Kim, can you share the screen with the camera? So introduce you to just 5 of these faces, because as I said, we have a lot of people. And I invite you to see. There we go. So you've got a little bit of a hint there, because Om is on this page already. But out of these 5 people, so we've got Dishani Jayawera, Om Sunisa Jamwiset-Ditas, Amanda Kiesel, Shunyo Yoshida, you can't see his name, it's cut up at the bottom, and Joshua Guinto. So these are all our wisdom keepers, and they all cover a topic in one dimension. Although I would say they're all holistic designers, so they probably cover topics in many dimensions, but they speak on one topic for each of the different dimensions. So does anyone know any of these faces here? Does anyone recognize any of these speakers? No? Raise your hands. You do. So we have, from the social section, we have a peace builder. She's from Sri Lanka, and she's been working with different religious factions to bring them together to find a way through and working together to create peace in communities, and that's Dishani Jaiwira. Om Sunisa Jamwiset-Ditas, it's a long name. She's a deep ecology and permaculture practitioner. She's in Thailand, and she talks about deep ecology and interbeing, and how the basis of deep ecology helps us to understand a different viewpoint from the one that maybe we grew up with of individualism, and that we're separate from everyone else and everything else. Same as Joanna Macy was talking about that. Joshua Guinto is, he's an inventor, I guess is the best word to describe him. he's an appropriate technology engineer. So he would go into a community and after spending time with the people, ask them to find ideas they wanted to solve and help them create things that would solve those problems. But instead of going in with an idea and selling that idea, he turns that process on its head and putting the people at the center of the design process. Amanda Kiesel was sharing about social enterprises, also about business canvases, local economies, and she started the Good Market, which is a global marketplace for ethical companies to share and to connect together across the world. So if anyone wants to look at that, I can recommend, and we're on there too. And then we have Shunro Yoshida in Japan, who is living in an eco-village, which has, I think I can say, successfully transitioned from the old setup of capitalism and markets. They've created their own currency. They have a co-op, farming co-op, and their eco-village is very unusual. It's not like any other eco-village I've encountered, where people live in normal houses across a normal town. They all live separately, and then they come together and they have this amazing, resilient farmers market and farm, and they've been going for how many years now? A long time. Like 20, I think it's like 20 years plus. It's one of the most successful examples of actually taking these ideas, creating design, and it working within a normal town. So these are just a few of our speakers that we have on our course, but this is the level of like expertise and wisdom that is touched upon in our course, and there's a million different topics you can dive into. So one thing about Regen-Nations is it's great to have a little bit of information, and then the things that you're interested in, it can spark your interest and you can take it further. Part of the course as well, when you join us for 5 dimensions, you have coaching. So you have one-on-one coaching with one of our experts, and this is really unusual because you don't normally get to see this one-to-one. So for instance, you can take your project, and Maura Gamble is going to be one of our coaches. She's a permaculture leader from Australia. So you'd be in a one-on-one meeting with Maura, and she'd be able to give you direct feedback on your project, when whatever facet that you want to focus on. All of our facilitators, so you see Kian and Hema down there on the bottom right-hand corner. All of our facilitators, all of our team is coming from Oceania and Asia. So we're bringing together a team that is based in our region, because this course is focused on people in our region. It's open to anyone in the globe to join, but we really wanted to make the most of the traditional cultures and the knowledge that needs to be applied in our region, but it's also so rich from our region. Another thing about the Regeneration course, which is a little bit different, is we are very focused on the community. Both of our speakers and expert practitioners are facilitators and our alumni. So we have a lot of, we had 10 projects incubated from the course in 2020. We had 16 project teams join, but all of our community is invited to join us on our community space. And this year we're starting a new community space which will be hosted within Earth Regenerators, which is a global community based out of Colombia, which is I think I can describe it as a regenerative community that started around a study group, but now is blossoming into a global network of people who are in regenerative projects. So rather than hosting our space on a social media platform that will remain unnamed, we are trying to create a nourishing space where we can both support each other within our projects within Regen-Nations, but also wider outwards to the wider regenerative community. And that will help us find people geographically and who share the same interest. And so far from being on Earth Regenerators, I can say it's very nourishing. It's a lovely space to be in, with a lot of people who are sharing our values and our goals. So last thing I'll say is to round off with a little bit of information on how you can access the course. So we understand that everyone is different and everyone's at a different stage in their project. So perhaps you you've got all the knowledge on the ecology, but perhaps you're not so strong on the economy section, so maybe you would join just for one dimension, or perhaps you want to join just for the social design dimension. So our course is open for the whole course, which is 6 months, and that's 5 dimensions, or you can join us just for one dimension, or you can join us just for the live sessions. So we have different levels of access depending on what you need. We also have discounts for groups. So if you're a group of 4 people and you bring a 5th person, the 5th person will join free. And we're trying to make it as easy as possible for groups of design teams to join us. And we also have scholarships available, so you can see our page for more information. So here you see, thank you, Ken. The fully facilitated course is £525, and that's everything. That's the full journey. We have a dedicated facilitator for you for the course who provide feedback on all of your action learnings. So you get guidance on places where you can strengthen. They might ask you questions to help you think a little bit deeper about that particular topic. You get one-to-one coaching with our coaches. You get all of the live community sessions and speaker sessions, and you get to join the community space and build and support each other from there. You also get a certificate of completion. The self-directed course is basically to be offered for people who want the information but don't necessarily want to have a live course schedule to follow. And then single dimension is, as I explained, just for one dimension. So say you want to join just for social, you could absolutely do that. So that's a lot of information. And there's a lot more on our website, which is linked at the end of this course. But that's pretty much all there is on the overview. So I'd like to open up now, and does anyone have any questions about the course, speakers, the access, anything at all? You can raise your hands, or you can type in the chat. Hi, Nana. Thanks for your question. So in the full course, there's 2 hours of coaching, so 2 sessions. And we usually split them up through the 2nd and the 4th dimensions. So you have a little bit of time to work into the course, and then you get to have the coaching afterwards. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
I also would like to add that in the graphic that you see earlier with different course access, you see some tick white and some are yellow. So the yellow tick means that you can also access extra for another top up payment. So like for example, for the self-directed course, so you can still access to one-on-one coaching session, but you will need to pay for that because that's only built in the fully facilitated option. And on top of the 2 hours that we have designed into the course, of course, you can get more hours of coaching with the speakers and trainers if you can arrange that with them on your own.
Yeah, thanks, Kim. We have a question from Lena. What role does health play broadly for Regeneration-Nations within the course? What can you say to the connection of permaculture and health? So we have one session actually that focuses specifically on health in the cultural section, and it's about biodiversity and health, like the connection between indigenous wisdom, biodiversity and health. And I think most people I know Regeneration are of the understanding that everything is interconnected and also mirrored. So for myself, I have some digestive issues, and they're exacerbated by like bad diet and Western diet. So I've spent a lot of time healing my body. And as I healed my body, I found I was better able to work, I was better able to function, and I was much more able to, you know, work with communities and work with other people. So it's a mirror. with health in general, there's not a great deal focused on individual health in the course, although that webinar does cover a lot of information, especially on like food and lifestyle. But I'd say it's super important, super important. And without, we can't heal the planet if we don't heal ourselves as well, you know. So does that answer your question, Ina?
And just to add a little bit on that, in this session that Na mentioned on the link between biodiversity, health, and indigenous wisdom, one of our speakers is actually a doctor, and he's a doctor on holistic medicine, and he gives us really nice and deep, insightful sharing on how the health system need to be holistic, rather than just focusing on treating the symptoms.
Yeah, completely. This reductionist approach of, oh, your diet has no effect on whether you're ill or not. It's just the fuel for your body. Interesting approach.
So may I ask you what's the name of this medical doctor more holistically?
Dr. Paredes.
Yeah,
Paredes.
Romy
Okay.
Paredes.
Just to research. Would you write it in the chat, please?
Sure.
Thank you. Just to investigate, because I have thesis.
And
Thank
Tao
you.
Huang, can you explain the options for a group to join again? Also, how frequent are the sessions and usually what time? Great questions. The sessions, we have 2 per dimension, and they're on a Saturday at 1 o'clock Indochina. I always want to say Indochina time. So that's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's the first Saturday and third Saturday. But we have a full schedule of the dates, and I think they're on the learning platform, so you can look at those to see. For project teams, so if 4 people join, the 5th person comes free. So it's a 25% discount basically, if there's a group of 5 of you. Does that make sense, Tao?
Yes, thank you.
And Prince Kuakan, I can't see the end of your name, sorry. Prince Kuakanu. You have a project building an eco-village in Benin, Masters in Development Studies, but you need your skills. How can we help you? So you have development studies being like development as in development, sustainable development. What sort of development are you referring to? Can you give us a little bit more information?
Yes, hello, good morning. Because we have a different hour. I'm participating from Paris, and I have a master in development study. What I have learned is concerned the participation of people in the building of the communities. This is one part of what I have learned, but also I have some option of intervention in crisis area. But particularly this year in my master, I work on eco village in Senegal. And this matter show me a lot, and I want to reply this project in Benin. And as an association, I can work with my friend and maybe work on this eco village building with the citizen participation, and learn how to have food autonomy, how to govern by themselves, or how to build the ecosystem. That's what I want to do. And I come here to listen to your communication, because that's what I need, and I need your skills to make it overcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Prince. So this curriculum is based on the Eco-Village Design Education Program, which is created by the Global Eco-Village Network. It's going through the 5 areas of regeneration, as I described earlier, and you're talking about organization and how to deal with conflict and how you can arrange a community different from, say, like a hierarchy or other ways of organizing yourselves. And we go through that in the social dimension. We cover some topics like sociocracy and holocracy and how to deal with tension. And I think there are many, many different ways you can deal with these things. But the Eco-Village Design Education is designed this way because it was exactly for that. It was to create eco-villages, to create communities. And it's also why the social dimension comes first, because the people and the community is absolutely at the heart of, or should be absolutely at the heart of any project. Even if you're looking to restore a forest, if you don't engage as a community that is caring for the forest or in that forest, then the project is not going to be anywhere near as successful as if you center it. So you've got to center it around the people who are there, the people who are going to be impacted and affected. You can see more on the curriculum on the landing on our learning platform page as well. Does that answer your question, Prince?
Yes, thank you. I will go on the website on the platform of Eco Village Organization. I will see if I have some question. I have your address mail. I can send you maybe my question and you can answer me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, friends. And just want to add a little bit more on top of that. It's that if you are thinking of building an eco-village, an eco-community, then I think the social part of it, who is your companions who are going to do that with you, it's really important. So I don't know if you already have a team or someone who are going to build this with you, but if yes, then it would be great if you can share the learning together. So it helps to get everyone on board on the same page, and you can practice all of the different things that you're going to learn together with your teammates. And I think from the experience of our cohort in the last year, learning together with a team is actually really rewarding. And yeah, I would really highly recommend that.
Okay, thank you. But I'm not alone on this project because it's a big one, and I know it. Even this year, we have worked on it in class, and I'm now. I have a team. I have my friend. We are 8, and we share our competencies, our skills. Someone who has competence in communication, in project building, in participation, in economy, and another who has skills in space design. And that's the team that I have. But me, I'm participating as the leader of this group, and I learn from everyone. I read a lot. I participate to workshop to learn and to share with them how we can build this project. And also as far as the community who will be beneficial of this project, we have already identified them, and we know already how to approach them. And I have already started by discussing with them the leader, and now we are searching to how to get the finance, how to ameliorate also our let's say our thinking of the picture, how we can ameliorate something. That's what we are thinking of now. Thank you.
Thank you. It sounds like you're well on the way with the project.
Just want to congratulate you on such a diverse team. Diversity is really a big strength.
Nana, how is Regeneration different or similar to Jen's EDE? I think I'll pass that to Kim because you've got more experience with the EDE.
Yeah, Thank you, Nana, for the question, and it's a great question as well. So the Regeneration program also started by being inspired by the EDE program. So the first cohort in 2020-2021, we was also certified as an eco-village design education program by Gaia Education. However, in this second cohort, in the second cycle, we have made some changes on the program, and we actually reduce a lot of the workload from an EDE. So the Regeneration course is a bit, I think a bit, not a lot, lighter than the EDE. So the number of hours that you need to invest in both going through the materials, go to live sections, and doing the action learnings on your own pace, it's a bit less than an EDE. I think the comparison is that an EDE is about 120 plus hours, and our Regeneration course is 84 hours estimatedly. And the other changes, the other difference that we have from the Gen EDE, it's also our focus on the bioregion of Asia and Oceania. And that is shown from the speakers and trainers that you have seen earlier, and Na shared that all of them are from our region, which is really rare from any other online programs that you might have seen. And so they are practitioners who are doing work on the ground in the area. So they might be coming from India, Japan, Thailand, Sri Lanka, Australia, New Zealand. And they bring the wisdom and also the characteristics, the specialties of the region into their work and their sharing. So I think that's how the course become more specific to our region. And it gives really details and on the ground sharing from the speakers that we have. And also the differences of Regeneration to a normal, not just Gen's EDE, but any other EDE, is actually the coaching and the project-based focus orientation. So you don't have to join Regeneration with an already well-established project in mind. You can form one project on the go, but our intention is to help you to build that project on with all of the stage, the different dimensions that we go through with all of the action learnings and materials. Is all designed to give different input and approach into a single project so that the project can be more holistic. So that's also another highlight of Regeneration, I would say. Yeah, and if you have seen the Gen EDE, you also probably already see that the listing of speakers and topics might be a bit different, even though we are both based on the foundation of 5 areas of regeneration from the Eco-Village Network. I hope that answers your questions.
Actually, can I have a question following on from that? The EDE, is it based mainly on making an eco-village? Is that another difference?
No, not necessary. The EDE also as the same as Regeneration. You can learn the EDE or Regeneration to build projects, not necessarily an eco-village. So Jen is actually, this is out of topic, but Jen's actually developing another separate course on how to build an eco-village, and that would be very much focused on the building of eco-village itself. And I don't know yet how the curriculum is gonna look like, so I cannot tell you now. I think it's gonna come out sometime next year.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, some of the projects, we had a really diverse range of projects in the last course. Things from, we had social enterprises, we had theatre and healing, like community healing through theatre, gardens, we had schools, what else? There was just such a really wide range of different types of projects from all over Oceania and Asia. So it can be applied to pretty much anything. Even like if you were just thinking of doing a business, like this is a great way to design a business that has that approach. So it's aware of the social, cultural, and ecological aspects. So it's, you know, designed to be a regenerative business. It can be applied to anything. Are there any other questions from anyone?
We also just want to let you know that at any time, if you have any question that pop up, feel free to contact us by emailing to regen.nations@ecovillage.org. And you can also find our information on the Genoa website, genoaecovillage.org/regeneration. We'll put all of that in the chat and also below the live stream later in the call. So even if you don't have a question now, but you think of a question later, just feel free to contact us.
Thanks, Kim. There's also frequently asked questions in our website, so some of your questions might be answered there too. Okay, if there's no other questions, I think we can. Last minute question. Is there any way we can see the community's ongoing projects? Yes, we are creating, so some of our projects have been shared on the Genoa website. It depends on the project. Some of them have been updating us recently and we've been posting to Genoa Facebook and onto the website, so you can see a little update of where everyone is doing, but also in our community space. All of our, so the community space is new. We didn't have that for the last course. We were using a Facebook group, but most of us being regenerative don't really love Facebook. This is why we wanted to find a new home for ourselves. So we'll be inviting all of the past participants and all of the projects into the community space on Earth Regenerators, and everybody will be able to post updates and see what everyone's doing. It's a much better, that space is designed for projects and information rather than Facebook, which is more designed for social interaction. So, but yeah, you'll be able to see some posts as well on the Genoa website. There's some posts about some of the old projects, and we will link them. We haven't done it yet, but we will link them all from the Regen-Nations page on genoaecovillage.org as well. And you'll also be able to see once in Good Market. So anyone who's got kind of a shop or any products that they sell, they're also on Good Market, which is a regenerative kind of community networking space. Okay. So we've got 10 minutes left. Kim, do you want to wrap up? And then.
Yeah, thank you so much, Na, and thank you everyone for joining either here through Zoom or via our live stream. And I know that a lot of us who have registered cannot be here today, so we'll also send the live stream link to you all. And yeah, I just want to close with an invitation, because we begin with the story of the Shambhala warriors prophecy. And as you might remember, the Shambhala warriors wear no uniform and they don't gather at any particular place. And we believe that the Shambhala warrior can be any one of us. It can be you, it can be me. I'm probably also on my own journey to become a Shambhala warrior. And we also think of the Regeneration as a hub for the Shambhala warrior to come together. So on our community space, you'll see that you get to meet not only people from this cohort, but also people who are already on Earth Regenerators platform. And of course, the platform name itself shows you that they are Shambhala warriors. And you also meet the cohort from last year as well. So the invitation is also for you to dive in a bit more, read more information about us, and to sense if this is the space that you want to tap in. And to end this call, I would love to share with you another poem that I really like from Mary Olivier. The poem is called White Geese. And before I start, I just invite you to take a deep breath, to let it all sink in, all that we have shared before, and what Mary Olivier will share with us now. Wild Geese by Mary Olivier. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert, repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. And with this, I invite you to listen to your own calling and join force with people who hear the same. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Thank you for your presence. Thank you so much now for your sharing. And we hope to see you and be in contact with you later after. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Jen. Thank you, everybody.